media and things like that. And if you know somebody and you see them on social media, you can tell they're presenting a version of themselves that isn't true. So what if we were in a situation where people are really trying to bare their souls and they still keep it back? And obviously there's a killer amongst them. And I think that's Susan in the background who played Kay, absolutely killed it. Hey girl. That was a big part of it. And the other thing, not to get political, but the whole gun thing, when you see guns in movies, it's like John Wick, which I love, shows up and it's like, oh, guns, this is cool. But guns are terrifying, and I don't think they're terrifying on film. And I think that's about the scariest thing that could realistically happen. I also think that the two stupidest pro-gun arguments I've ever heard in my life are that the only person that can stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. And the other argument that you hear is, oh, well, if it wasn't with a gun, it would be a hammer or a knife. So I call bullshit, and you see Allie has a gun in her purse, but she's not trained. So the fact that she has a gun, nobody knows how they're going to react in that situation, and sadly, as we've seen, people who are trained don't even react properly. And at the end, if he'd had a hammer or a knife, I think Sully and Halston subdue him fairly quickly, but they don't. So I kind of wanted to make that point about what's out there in society and the arguments people make and the realities or surrealities of themselves and show what would be a dramatically horrifying situation. And that was the main principle. And Chris helped. Yeah, oh, yes.
So that was right there on my line, okay? You had Sully and you had Austin. Sully's off previous, so we put that there. Even in the proof, you would have that guy, right? Your bad guy only had a revolver, so he had enough bullets to take out as many people as he should have, right? So that's where I was.
Only 3 died.
Yeah.
Oh, only 3. So why was everybody laying off like they?
They moved, but they were ducking for cover. You could see people moving in the background or shivering.
Okay, so just to include Sully and Austin?
Yeah, Sully was the first one he shot, because that's the biggest threat to him.
Right.
He eliminates him, Halston grabs Renata and throws her aside, everybody else kind of dives. Ironically, Kay goes and she's moved by Joe, who killed her brother, but she doesn't know. So she's actually protecting draft dodger, even though he was born 20 years too late.
Right.
And again, I don't know what goes on in the mind of a psychopath. So I, looked at kind of interviews that serial killers have given where they're saying nonsense or giving excuses and trying to write it from what seems like a logical perspective. And then with Don, the killer, who performed both songs in the credits, by the way, and is a sweet, sweet, wonderful human, I said, deliver it like Charles Manson would in an interview. And he did.
To clarify, 4 bullets, 3 deaths.
Yes, that's true.
So guys, questions? I know you guys have. How long was the process for writing the script?
I wrote the script in 3 months. We had done a film, several of us, a Stephen King adaptation, and I started writing it during that. And then I remember I officially got into the WGA and registered that script, and I had 2 others. And the last one got registered the morning we went on strike. So it was the last thing.
We shot right between the writer's strike and the SAG strike.
Right, so no pickets genuinely were crossed. We had another film we were hoping to do in the fall, and that has been moved back, which is far darker than that one, actually. It was, we wrote it, all the background stuff was shot in advance. The people who are the most truthful people, you see the least projection, because they're kind of telling the truth. Halston, the poor kid, is telling the exact truth, so that's why he has no projection.
Right, yeah.
Heaven is telling, or Jackie, sorry, played by Heaven, is playing this incredible role, and she's telling what she remembers, but obviously she was, drugged at the time. And then other people are somewhat truthful, and some people are just blatantly lying. So we shot all that in advance, and I started as an attorney, and for many years, and you have a case that could be years, something happens, and every, year of that case leads up to one day sometimes. And so I got extraordinarily talented people as far as acting. We went through it in advance. They understood the script, they inhabited characters, and principal filming was accomplished in 72 hours.
Wow.
So, yes.
Yeah, was there any improv? Like because there was long dialogue and I was just wondering if everything was written like to the...
He did the only improv. Everything else was written.
Wow. Cool.
Yes.
Regarding the background scenes, I noticed that in the ending credits, some of those were directed by the actors themselves. How was the process behind the filming of those scenes?
Well, Chris could probably speak to it better than me, but like what I told him, because he helped with casting, is it was important to me that this is the character you're portraying. Would it help individuals to get into the role better if you shot the background as it's filmed? If you want.
We also, knowing that we were only together a short time, because I'm friends with Susan, I had cast a lot of the New York people. I did 3 of the background films, so Kay's, Ricky's, and my own. Ricky's me, sorry. What's Joe's character's name?
Joe's character's name is Joe.
It's a Joe's name.
Real life couple, by the way.
Yeah,
Just
we don't meet
you
each other
should
in real
know
life.
him.
I know, I forgot his character name though. So I shot those 3 so that we would have more time on set, and just because I have a little bit of experience as a filmmaker. And we got Marcus to shoot his own separately.
He shot the one part where he was physically violent. That one, like each one had a theme. So like that one was through a glass darkly. The Marcus one was being abusive and taking drugs and things. And Chris did a great job with it.
And Bill had a lot of vision for what exactly it would be. We talked about a lot of things. I have a lot of access to actors here in New York because it's a great city for actors. So we got people together and made those background scenes possible.
I'm very, very intrigued by your visual choices of how you station everybody. If I may, it's almost Wes Anderson-like, but different. I mean, what were your inspirations when it came to like how you stationed each person with the backdrop they were sitting in?
Okay, so first of all, Wes Anderson, amazing. Love that, didn't expect that. The shooting style was inspired by, you're not going to believe it, but watch, E.T. E.T. is shot entirely from Elliot's viewpoint. He's a 10-year-old kid, so the camera is always at his viewpoint if you watch the film. It's always there. And the camera viewpoint in this film, until the end, when things go absolutely nuts, is always at the position you would be in if you were sitting in one of the chairs. Obviously, some big inspirations would be 12 Angry Men, The Thing, and I would say Reservoir Dogs a little bit, but Reservoir Dogs is kind of like The Thing also, so probably all The Thing. And then as far as the background shooting, that was the chance to be a bit more artistic and use a lot of 8mm and 16mm processing in order to get it to look a certain way, and then shoot that in a different location. And that was one of the director tricks. I really only think there's 2 jobs as a director, honest to God, which is once you've cast somebody, trust those actors, create a very safe set where everybody's good, and then get the best performance possible without violating the first rule. And if you can do those, if you get the performance, everything else can kind of fall into place. And obviously, it has to be a collaborative effort. So, he had a lot of input into his character. Everybody did. One of the things he asked is Ricky gay? And I said, I have no idea, but Joe's character believes he is. So play it however you choose to play that. And he obviously chose a way. I still don't fully know, but, that's fine.
Guys, one more question because we have to keep going.
Thank you. Are
Yes.
you planning to continue to run this feature through festivals, or are you going to release it or pitch someone to, launch it in a movie theater? What's the plan there?
It's been submitted to other festivals, but one thing, that's a group decision with everybody on the casting crew. It's not to get on the business side, but we did contracts with everybody. I paid above the SAG minimum, to be very, very clear, but I made sure everybody gets a percentage of ultimately whatever it makes, so everybody has a say into what happens with that. It's not a dictatorship.
But if you're offering anything, let us know.
That's right. I am very
Open
much
to
for sale.
offers.
Very much for sale.
So everyone, a big round of applause. So we're gonna continue in 3 minutes with the next block, and it's beautiful, and we got all the filmmakers here, so stay around, stick around. Use the bathroom, stretch. 3 minutes.
So that's how it is.